Hello everyone. This is a good day to talk about another episode of the storytelling strategy session. Remember in our last two episodes we talked about who a storytelling strategist is. Then the second one we talked about identity. This is day 3 and we're going to be talking about authority. Now, let's look at this. In a world where attention is, you know, you have to earn attention because nobody will just sit down and listen to you. What do you do? Can you remember that during the time of our Lord Jesus Christ, nobody gave Jesus Christ a platform? He had to earn it by telling better stories. He had to earn attention of people, despite the fact that Jesus Christ is the Son of God. Jesus Christ was the, let's say, the highest person living on earth as at that time. Yet no one gave him an attention. Why? If you look at human psychology very well, you would understand that for anything to grab your attention, that thing must have earned it, either by hook or by crook. Whatever means that thing will take, it would definitely or must have definitely earned it. Now, how do we bring this into storytelling? You need to sit out and understand that whenever you are telling a story, if the first few lines are not attention grabbing, you have no point there. Because one thing about storytelling is you need to be visually involved. What you are telling and what your audience or listeners are interpreting are actually connected to visuals. So if I'm telling a story that my readers, my audience cannot visualize, then there's a problem. Now, I bring you into Matthew 13 verse 3, where Jesus Christ, the Son of God, started with a farmer went out to sow his seed. You all know who a farmer is. You all know what sow means, and you all know what seed means. Now look at that. A farmer went out to sow his seed. Even before he continues, the readers, the audience already soak that in and they are beginning to visualize it in their mind like a farmer. They know who a farmer is. So they know what that is. And seed, they know what that is. So what point am I bringing out of Matthew 13 verse 3? The point I'm bringing out is that for everything that you do and for everything that you want to say or how you want to narrate it, the power of visualizing lies in your hand, and you alone have the key to be able to make your audience stand at an attention whenever they are listening to you. Because your ability to tell better stories is hinged on how well you can use words carefully to describe the things you are saying. That brings us to another point where I talk about visualization. Yes, of course, that's what we dealt with. Description this time around. Description, your ability to describe vivid things, your ability to bring imaginations into, word form, your ability to also take word form into imagination. That's one attribute that a storytelling strategist must be armed with. Now, if you look at breaking down a storytelling um, work table or what it comprises of, you look at the scene. What scenario is that happening, taking place, or has taken place? Now, look at it. Is there any tension in the story? Does the story make one feel sad? Does the story make one feel happy? Or do you feel these two things at the same time? Now, what insights do you think people can draw from this story? Because top storytellers understand this imagery in storytelling, and they tend to use it in a way that draws attention to people. You must first understand that to catch people's attention, especially on the internet space, your first two lines must have a great hook. even if it doesn't have a great hook, because sometimes most writers are in their practicing stage, and most times people do not always have it, well figured out every now and then. But let it be that you are telling a story that has a rhythm, a story that starts, you visualize the scene, you visualize the contents, the ideas, the rising and the coming down. You visualize the insights. Okay, the takeaway from my audience is this. How does this story connect to reality? How does this story connect to the point that I'm driving home? That's what I mean by your story must have what it takes. Your story must have movement. Your story must have the rising, the falling, and definitely it must have value. So it may not be all time great, but at least let it have a pathway that it is following. Now, I need you to understand that when you are building, no one might give you that platform, might give you that audience, might give you that space, but you need to learn how to command attention by crafting something that brings people to listen to you. And that takes us down to understanding what people are actually going to relate with. Understanding, when you understand what people are actually going to relate with, like in Matthew 13, verse 3, where Jesus Christ knew that, oh, when I tell the story of a farmer, everybody here will be able to relate to it. And he used that. So understand what your audience would relate with and use that to tell a story. That is how to garner attention. If you don't use something they can connect with or something they can relate with, there will be a problem because they will just leave you hanging. When they cannot connect, they cannot relate, definitely this will not be for them and they move on. So you must look for something that connects with your audience, then you move on from there. I hope you understand. So watch out for day 4 of our session. Thank you.